from the station working for you. This is WRTV News at 6, streaming now.
Fans are getting ready for March Madness, and they say even if it's decided they can't sit in the stands, that won't put a damper on the excitement downtown. Thanks for joining us at 6. I'm Alyssa Donovan in for Nicole Griffin. The NCAA is still deciding whether fans can attend games because of COVID-19, but with 67 games taking place in the Circle City, fans are already getting revved up. Games will be played at Lucas Oil, Bankers Life, Hinkle Fieldhouse, and Indiana Farmers Coliseum. Many fans say even though the pandemic may impact their chances to be courtside, they still can't wait.
It's a way for people to get out of reality for a little bit, you know what I mean? They don't have to focus on anything that's going on. They don't have to focus on the stuff going around them. They can just focus on the games or it's just innocent fun basically, you know what I mean?
Tonight at 11, hear why many Hoosiers say this is just the news they needed right now. Now to the latest on the coronavirus. The Indiana State Health Department reports another 5,127 Hoosiers have been diagnosed with COVID-19. 18 more deaths were also reported today, bringing the total number of COVID-19 deaths in our state to 8,613. Since March, more than 563 Hoosiers have tested positive for the virus, and more than 6 million tests have been administered in Indiana. And with cases of coronavirus continuing to rise across the country, the need to get people vaccinated is growing. President-elect Joe Biden has said he wants to distribute all available vaccines immediately to the states. Here's ABC's Zoreen Shah with the details.
The U.S. surpassing more than 22 million confirmed cases of the coronavirus, more than 373,000 lives lost. Minnesota now the 9th state to confirm cases of that highly contagious UK strain of the virus. The push to get vaccines into people's arms growing more critical. President-elect Joe Biden saying he will release nearly all the available vaccine doses rather than hold back millions to ensure second doses are available.
We've got to start getting these vaccines out to states. We're in the middle of a horrible surge. That variant that was mentioned is probably in every state or most states in the country. We've got to get people vaccinated quickly.
Arizona now with the world's highest infection rate per capita. State Farm Stadium will become a 24-hour vaccine site beginning Monday.
It will just be on a first come, first serve by appointment basis.
The senior living facility in Wisconsin turning vaccinations into a party.
I'll have a vodka martini, by the way.
Our nursing home residents have endured 10 months of not being able to see their families, and this is just the first step towards changing that.
New York City opening 5 vaccination centers. By the end of the week, the city plans to have 160 locations open. Cases continue to surge in California, the state deploying 88 refrigerator trucks to use as makeshift morgues, mostly in hard-hit Los Angeles County.
I've been here 21 years, and I've seen more people pass away in the past week, in the past couple weeks, really, than I almost like it combined in all of my career as a nurse.
The National Guard now in LA to assist staff over at crowded hospitals.
Most striking for me was just how crowded it was coming to the hospital. The feeling of chaos walking in, controlled chaos. At the same time, it felt like things were somewhat unstable and almost at the breaking point.
Zoreen Shah, ABC News, Los Angeles.
And the Marion County Health Department will start administering the COVID-19 vaccine tomorrow. The vaccines will be available to people over the age of 80, plus medical workers and members of law enforcement. Mayor Joe Hogsett says the focus right now is to ensure Marion County residents stay safe and informed. All appointments will be made through the state, meaning you cannot call your primary care physician to get one. Eligible seniors can go to rshot.in.gov or call 211 for more information. And it was a bit of a gloomy day today, Kyle. What's the rest of the week looking like?
Yeah, Alyssa, you know, those clouds have had a real stubborn side, and we have been on it. Not too far away, the sunshine earlier today. They're in Ohio, but just out of reach. The clouds continuing to kind of reinforce themselves, but at least we've been dry here across central Indiana with that thick cloud cover. We've got 29 in Bloomington, so the clouds, we never really warmed up today because of those. It's 29 right now in Greenfield and 27 7 degrees for you in the Crawfordsville area. As we look through your planning forecast this evening, the clouds, they're really not going anywhere here, and that will hold our temperatures fairly steady. We're around 28 degrees through 9 o'clock, may lose a degree or two here as we approach midnight tonight. Things are going to change up a little bit, though, as we go into the upcoming week. The clouds, they will break this week. We're going to talk about when that will finally arrive. Temperatures are going to rise above average, and in some instances about 10 degrees above average this week. But we change things as we end things on Friday. Could see a little wintry mix coming our way. Lots to talk about coming up in a full forecast.
All right, thanks, Kyle. Well, Metro Police are investigating a shooting on the northwest side. It happened this afternoon. Investigators say the victim was shot in the 4900 block of West 71st Street just before 1 p.m. Police were called to Methodist Hospital after the wounded victim arrived at the emergency room. That person is now listed in critical condition. No word yet on a suspect or motive in this case. An Indianapolis fire engine was involved in an accident earlier today. It happened this afternoon near East 10th Street and Arlington Avenue. We're told a woman crashed into the fire engine with her car when she failed to yield at a red light. The fire crew on board Engine 25 was responding to an emergency call of a possible apartment fire. Both lights and sirens were on at the time of the crash. The driver's car hit the engine's passenger side, rear door, and wheel well. Part of the driver's bumper and front license plate were embedded in the wheel. 3 cars, the engine were involved in the crash. 2 adults and 1 child who were in the cars involved were taken to local hospitals to be checked out. No firefighters were injured. Now, hundreds of used mobile phones have been collected over the past few months in an important effort to help people in Indiana who are victims of domestic violence. 17-year-old Katie Dunn collected phones today at the Carmel Police Department. The Cadet Girl Scouts started the phone drive last year after recognizing a need in the community. A neighbor put out a group text asking if anyone had a spare phone for her friend. That friend and her young children had been kicked out of their home by an abusive husband. She and her children didn't have any belongings and no phone to contact people for help. Dunn wanted to do something to help people who are in domestic violence situations and need a lifeline.
So we're donating the cell phones so that the victims have a way to call for safety if they ever need it. If they're in a situation where they don't have anything else, they have their phone to call.
And those phones will be donated to the Julian Center, which provides shelter and support to victims of domestic violence in Indiana. An impeachment resolution against President Trump could be introduced as soon as Monday, but that doesn't mean the Senate will take it up right away. We'll explain what's going on with all of that when the News at 6 continues.
The Home Store. This is home.
From the station working for you, this is WRTV News at 6, streaming now.
President Trump could be the first U.S. president impeached twice. Democrats have drafted 1 article of impeachment, but may wait to send that article to the Senate until after President-elect Joe Biden's first 100 days in office. Here's ABC's Faith Abube with the details.
With just 10 days left in office, President Trump is facing a second impeachment.
You'll never take back our country with weakness. You have to show strength and you have to be strong.
House Democrats drawing up 1 article of impeachment, accusing the president of, quote, willfully inciting violence against the government. But they could delay sending it to the Senate for trial.
Let's give President-elect Biden the 100 days he needs to get his agenda off and running, and maybe we'll send the articles sometimes after that.
More than 200 Democrats support impeachment, some saying one priority is to prevent Donald Trump from ever holding office again.
So if we allow insurrection against the United States with impunity, with no accountability, we are inviting it to happen again.
But a group of several Republican lawmakers and other allies were asking President-elect Joe Biden to put a stop to any efforts to impeach the president, saying it is, quote, as unnecessary as it is inflammatory.
Tell them, stand down. This will destroy the country even further. You have the power to do that. The question is, do you have the courage to do it?
According to an ABC News Ipsos poll, 2/3 of Americans say President Trump shoulders much of the blame for Wednesday's Capitol riot. 56% believe he should be removed from office, while 43% say he should not. But Republican Congressman Adam Kinzinger believes impeachment victimizes President Trump.
I think the best thing for the country to heal would be for him to resign. The next best thing is the 25th Amendment.
Senator Pat Toomey joining fellow Republican Senator Lisa Murkowski in calling for the president's resignation.
I think at this point, with just a few days left, it's the best path forward, the best way to get this person in the rearview mirror for us. That could happen immediately.
Faith Abube, ABC News, Washington, D.C.
Security is now being stepped up ahead of the January 20th inauguration of President-elect Joe Biden. 6,200 guardsmen and women deployed from across 6 states and D.C. are already working to secure the perimeter around the Capitol building. And the images from the rioting on Wednesday were disturbing enough for most adults. So imagine what it was like for your kids as they watched. We asked experts, what can parents do to help process what happened at the Capitol? They say you should make the conversation age appropriate. For younger children, speak with them about safety and explain how people disagree. For older children, have a more in-depth conversation about belief systems. No matter the age, parents should remember to approach the situation openly and give the child a chance to talk.
It's important to talk about because they could be internalizing a lot of it and having trouble grasping what's going on. And it always helps kids to get a release of their emotions. It always makes things a little bit easier for them.
Parents who are kind of figuring out, where do I go from here? And I'd be looking to see how their kids handling these things. Looking for, are there symptoms coming out of stress?
Psychologists say parents should keep an eye out for physical signs of anxiety in children. For younger children, it often results in behavioral issues. In older children, it can include physical exhaustion, headaches, or fatigue. The woman charged with attempted assault of a 14-year-old boy she falsely accused of stealing her iPhone is out on supervised release. 22-year-old Maya Ponsetto was arraigned in New York Saturday. Along with attempted assault, charges against Ponsetto include attempted robbery, grand larceny, and acting in a manner injuriously to a child. In a viral video last month, jazz trumpeter Keon Harold accused Ponsetto of assaulting his son over her missing phone. It happened at a hotel. Ponsetto's attorney says she's innocent, and Ponsetto herself has said she's sorry. Snow showed up a few weeks late for Christmas, but it arrived across the South Plains of Texas this weekend. A major winter weather system dropped 6 to 8 inches of snow in areas around Lubbock. People were advised to stay home, but for those who did venture out, it was treacherous until plows could make their way through.
And they don't have a lot of plows down there in the Lone Star State, so I'm sure just clearing some of that snow, taking a little bit of time out there on the roads. But thing is, in Texas, those temperatures are going to warm up here pretty quick, and the snow will begin to melt away. But there's a look at the system on radar, and yeah, about 4 to 6 inches of snow. Some areas picking up around 8 inches of snow here just north of Houston, and this is going to continue to spread into Louisiana and eventually into Mississippi, all dealing with winter storm warnings there. So a winter wonderland far south from Indiana. That system is not going to be impacting us. We've got the cloudy skies, temperature of 29 in downtown. We got 32 on the thermometer, so right at the freezing mark there for you in Shelbyville and Muncie. It's 28 in Kokomo. Tonight we'll have mostly cloudy skies. It will remain cold. Temperatures will fall back into the lower 20s by tomorrow morning, but again, we're going to keep things dry. TrueCast. It's being very optimistic here, but it does bring in some clearing as we go into Monday afternoon. I don't think we're going to get into total sunshine, just kind of the way the things have been going here lately, but we will see some brighter skies as we head into our Monday afternoon. Still going to remain seasonably chilly, though. Temperatures in the upper 20s for your lunch hour. Finally need those sunglasses as you head out for lunchtime, and then partly sunny skies as we get into the afternoon, and temperatures that will make their way into the lower and middle 30s for an afternoon high. So again, right about where we should be here for the early part of January. 36 in Columbus, 33 tomorrow afternoon in Muncie, and we'll get to around 31 in Lafayette. Temperatures, though, after that are really going to warm up here. You can see kind of a dome as we get toward the middle of the week with those highs Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday expected to be in the 40s for course, and then they come back down on Friday. And that's also the next chance for a little wintry weather in our forecast. This is one of two models we're looking at here as we get you to Thursday night at 11 o'clock. And you can see it tries to bring a wintry mess here as we go into the day on Friday. Maybe some freezing rain, maybe some snow showers, but then it moves toward the east as we get into next weekend. Model number 2, a little different. You can see most of the precipitation is well off to the north, brings in just a few flurries or snow showers here through the day on Friday. Something to watch, and we'll see those come in a little more agreement here as we go through time. But right now we'll call for a little wintry mix, not out of the question. Between now and then, things are nice and quiet. Finally seeing a little bit of that sunshine. Temperature 34 tomorrow, and then we'll get to 42 on Tuesday. Again, by Wednesday, Thursday, those numbers are about 10 degrees above average. Chilly but dry next weekend. Stay with us. We'll be right back here on the news at 6.
The percentage of the general public that agrees to get the vaccine remains to be seen. There is concern among some members of the Latino, immigrant, and African American communities that people will be skeptical or unwilling to go to certain distribution sites like a medical clinic or pharmacy. Cesar Rodriguez stopped by a church where people were gathering and distributing food to talk to some people who think churches could play a role in the general population vaccination effort.
The Lincoln Methodist Church is providing some hope during the pandemic.
It really helps us out if it's just a gallon of milk, if it's a bag of rice.
This is their weekly food drive. It brings some relief to many impacted by COVID-19.
Probably the darkest winter that any of us have dealt with in a long time.
Church leaders are conducting a poll to find out how many of those coming to the food drive will agree to take the vaccine.
So our first question is, will you take the vaccine, the COVID-19, when it's available?
Oh, yes, I would in a second.
We're accumulating facts so that we can present to the elected officials, to the scientists, to everybody in power and authority so that they can know the reality on the ground.
I think it's very important, because a lot of the people here in the community, a lot of people have no other choice but going to work, and whereas 30, 40 people in the factories and stuff.
However, not everyone feels this way. Many in Latino and Black communities are hesitant to visit medical and government institutions where the vaccine might be delivered. They're skeptical or worried about their immigration status.
We know that the government has been, in the past, dishonest and not trustworthy when it comes to a lot of different things. People have lost faith in so many institutions. But the case right now is that what they're doing is the inequity is going to come from not getting the vaccine.
We need to stop the death, Lord. We need a future.
That's why some believe religious temples should be vaccine sanctuaries.
But we're in place. If they really want to curb and stop this pandemic, they need to come to our communities, into places where our community feels confident. And we already have the structure in place. They already know us.
Emma Lozano says she speaks to her congregation about the vaccine.
A good Christian needs to love their neighbor and as they love thyself. And that means you take the vaccine so you don't infect your family and you don't infect your community.
While residents wait to receive the vaccine, this church will continue to keep faith in medicine to protect their community, hoping they can play a bigger role in the vaccination effort if needed. I'm Cesar Rodriguez reporting.
The Indiana Pacers will start allowing a limited number of fans into Bankers Life Fieldhouse this month. Tickets go on sale January 19th for games between January 24th and March 4th. The Pacers say they'll limit sales to approximately 1,000 tickets per game initially and consider gradually increasing for games later in the season. The Pacers have hosted games in front of empty stands since the season began December 23rd. And IndyCar fans are going to have to wait a little bit longer for the start of this year's racing season. The league announced a change to the schedule, which means the first race will be in April, not March. The Firestone Grand Prix of St. Petersburg has been moved from March 7th to April 25th due to the ongoing pandemic. That means the first race of the season is now the Honda Indy Grand Prix of Alabama at Barber Motorsports Park on April 11th. That makes for a condensed start to the season when you also include 2 races at Texas Motor Speedway on May 1st and 2nd, the road course race at IMS on May 15th, and the Indy 500 on May 30th. The Indianapolis Zoo has some new residents to introduce. 2 baby penguin chicks hatched just before Christmas, and 1 chick was born to a same-sex pair, a first for the zoo. A female laid an egg and left it with the all-male couple who have been caring for it ever since. Zoo officials say the 2 fathers have taken turns tending to the nest, incubating the egg, and now feeding the chick. The other chicks hatched to a female-male pair who are also first-time parents. Let's take a look at that weather, Kyle.
They are cute penguins, aren't they?
Yeah.
All right, we check it out tomorrow, 34. We get back into some sunshine.
Thanks for joining us.